There is scheduled for Saturday afternoon, I think 4 p.m. downtown courthouse down around that area. A memorial service, a vigil, a prayer rally. The precise name, it varies from participant to participant. What have you heard about that? What do you know, and what kind of presence will the Shreveport Police have at that rally? What kind of security have they asked for, if any?
Well, I don't think right now any member of responsible law enforcement would say that, would disclose exactly what they're going to have or who they're going to have there based on what's happening around the country. I can tell you that I intend to be there.
Will you be on duty?
I will be on duty.
Okay, let me ask you this. Baton Rouge police are getting some criticism for, putting on full riot gear and being out. How do you respond to that? I mean, there's some instances when you show up in all that gear, it sends a really loud message that some say you've gone too far. And then what happened in Dallas happens, and you're like, I want my husband or my police officers to be in full riot gear.
Well, Aaron, it's time for society to stop expecting police and fire to be acceptable losses. All right, no one has the right to hurt police officers and firefighters in this country. Not in Baton Rouge, not in Dallas, or anywhere else. So it's a sign. The general public, the silent majority, as I like to call them, when you see police officers show up in riot gear, you need to become very concerned, because that means they know what they're facing and that they're trying to protect themselves in doing so. And anybody that would complain about a police officer trying to protect their own safety, they're pretty irrational, and I don't have time for that kind of debate.
Mike, have you heard anything, and there's a couple of local media outlets that have made reference to this on Saturday being a Black Lives Matter rally. Have you heard anything about that? And if that were the case, what would your reaction be?
Sure, I've heard that before. And listen, I don't think police officers across the country, myself included, I don't think that we're concerned with the organized group Black Lives Matter. They have the right to assemble. They have the right to put their message out. But what I really would caution them is stop letting people hijack your campaign. Stop allowing people to come in and disrupt and defame what you're doing. If you're trying to have a peaceful rally, then you take the steps, you take the precautions to contact the police and vet the people that you're with. And if you see a perceived problem, or if you know that someone's going to show up because you've gotten information that they have their own agenda, you need to contact the local police and let them deal with them directly. Take that attention off you and off of your group so that you can have your peaceful protest without being, a part of the violence. I'm going to tell you now, what you're seeing across the country, that's not a peaceful protest or rally. That is an organized riot, and that is why police are having to take action.
Let me ask you this, Michael, because I've seen some videos of Black Lives Matter rallies and marches and have heard the chants, and I've heard this chant, dead pigs in a blanket. How do you, as a police officer, feel about hearing that and then having to protect people who are shouting that?
Well, it's a testament to professionalism nationwide. We step in and we do our job. You might be surprised, Aaron, if you rode in a police car, what you hear police officers called right here in the city of Shreveport on normal calls day to day. I think it's disheartening. I think it's degrading. I think it's intentional disrespect where it's not deserved. I don't think that, in general, that police officers deserve that type of rhetoric. I don't think they deserve the focus and the hate that's being pointed toward them. And I think people are allowing their emotions to get out of control in the wrong direction. What is it exactly are you mad at every police officer for? We're not your enemy. We're the ones that, when you hit 911, we come to help you, and we do that. We do that every day. You've seen the police officers in Dallas. They were being shot down, and they were shielding people who were there yelling these exact same chants. And you know what? I think it's a testament to their professionalism. I think the whole nation had to take a real lesson from that.
Sergeant Mike, on the ESPYs last night, Dwayne Wade, who now plays for Chicago, and he stood up there in a national TV audience, that huge arena, that huge auditorium. And one of the things he said was that the shoot to kill mentality has to stop. That when that assumption is automatically made that police are shooting to kill, that's got to bother you and everybody you know.
Well, I need to explain something. I explained this to Tom the other day on Talk to Town. We are not trained to shoot people in the ankles or the wrist or the legs or anything else. When deadly force is authorized, it's whenever your life is in grave danger, and at that point, that's when you use deadly force. All right, and this shoot to kill is talked about in the police world as the use of deadly force. And deadly force is very, very strictly guided and watched, and it's trained on very, very focused. And you got to understand, we cannot allow ourselves to go to work and say, well, you know what, today if somebody wants to kill me, I'm just going to have to let that happen. Policing is never going to be that way. I would encourage that young man, if he thinks he's got, some kind of philosophy or some kind of ideals that'll change policing, come get involved. I tell you, about probably 30 days to 60 days in any given city, he's going to be right in the same mentality as other police officers. He's going to fall in line with training, or he's not going to survive.
Let me ask you one more thing. I've gotten a lot of police officers angry with me for things I've said this week. Let me get your reaction. I've said that I am treated differently, no doubt, when I'm pulled over for a speeding ticket than a young African-American man. That does happen. I'm assuming you would admit that. Why does that happen, and is it wrong?
No, I won't admit that. I won't admit that. That's not the same. And in 20 years of policing here in the city of Shreveport, if you go back and look at my traffic stops, I treat everybody the same unless I perceive a real threat. If I stop you, Aaron, on the side of Westport Avenue, I'm going to order you to step out of your car. And some say, well, other policemen don't order me to step out of the car. That's what I do. The law allows me to do it. You're going to step out of that car. I could explain the number of reasons why I do that. If I stop a young black man, I'm going to order him to do the exact same thing. Now, there's one thing I do look into account: size, strength, number of pockets, number of hoodies. What do you have that can conceal a weapon? I have to take all those things into consideration for my safety. Now, should I be as afraid of a lady who is, not able to overpower me as I am? Let's say this week we confronted a man that was 6'3" and 270 pounds. He confronted one of the officers on the street who is 6'8" and weighs 325 pounds. That did not end well for him.
Right.
He chose that fight. He literally chose to fight that man. And I find it hurtful for police officers everywhere that people keep trying to bring up this racial divide and this racial issue with police work, because we have black police officers out there who are doing the exact same job that I do, who are doing the exact same message that I do. And I think white cops are starting to deserve a break here. I think we've been kind of pounded on enough. And I know my colleagues and coworkers who happen to be African American, I think they think it's as silly as I do.